Okay, so we're starting with multiplication of fractions. Okay, you learned about multiplication back in elementary school. So we're going to step it up and add it multiplication of fractions. I need you to put this in your journal. So you're going to have to pause the video to write notes if you need to, just so that you can keep up. These notes are going to be useful on daily work for the next couple weeks because we're going to be on multiplying and then dividing fractions for the next couple of weeks. So this is going to be important information. So anytime I tell you to write it down, I want you to keep it in your journal, okay? All right, so we learned in elementary that multiplication is repeated addition. So if I had the number 4 times 3, okay, that's the same if I'm doing repeated addition as saying 4 plus 4 plus 4, right? 4 times 3 is the same as saying 4 3 times. And if I was to flip that and say 3 times 4, it's still the same. It's still 4 plus 4 plus 4. Or you can use the 3 and say 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. I have to add one more because I'm going to write the number 3 4 times. Okay? Repeated addition, where you pick one of the numbers and you write it this many times. So I picked the number 4. I wrote it 3 times. I added it 3 times. And then I picked the number 3 and I added it 4 times. But either way, I'm going to get the same answer. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 is 12. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 3 is 12. Because I know 3 times 4 is 12. Okay? Well, fractions is exactly the same way. Because we only deal with multiplying fractions times whole numbers. So, if I have the number 1/3 times 4... I'm going to take the number 1/3 and I'm going to write it 4 times. So it's going to look like this. 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3. That's 3. One more. 1/3. Okay. So we have learned that when we add fractions, we only add the numerators. So 1, 2, 3, 4 thirds, because the denominator stays the same. That's why we learn adding and subtracting fractions before we multiply, because we have to understand that when we add the fractions, we only add like denominators. Okay? So this is an improper fraction, so then I would have to convert it. 4 divided by 3. 3 will go into 4 one time. 4 minus 3 is 1. So my answer is 1 1/3. Okay, so if I have, let's do 2 times 1/2. Okay. I'm not going to write 2 1/2 of time, so I have to take the fraction and I have to write it that many times. 1/2 plus 1/2. So 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 stays the same. So my answer is 1/2. Okay. If I have 1/4 times 3, I'm going to write 1/4 how many times? Okay, so if you write 1/4, what would it look like? One-fourth plus 1/4 plus 1/4, right? 1/4 written 3 times, okay? So what would you get as your answer if you were to add all of this up? Okay, 1, 2, 3. You add up the numerators. 4 is the same. 3/4. That's it. That's all there is to multiplying fractions. You can write it as an addition problem, or you can actually solve the multiplication fact. And I'm going to show you that later, but right now I want to look over the models. So looking at a model is the same thing. And this is what we're going to be dealing with for the first couple of days. So this is where you really need to pay attention. So the models, the fraction says 1/4 times 3. Okay, so what that means is I'm going to have 3 models. And each of those models is going to be broken into 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 models broken into 4 pieces. So just ignore these down here. So it says 1/4. So I'm going to shade in 1/4 of each model. Okay, so it's just like repeated addition. You can say there's 1, 2, 3 shaded, and there's 4 in each group. That's one way to move it, okay? Or you can take and move, per se. So I'm going to take this one that's marked out and move it up here. So now this one is empty and it's gone. I can take this one and move it up here. And now that one's gone, so that's empty. So now I just have one model, and 1, 2, 3 out of the 4 are shaded. Does that make sense? Okay, let's look at another one. 5 times 1/2. So remember what I said, I can't take 5 and break it into halves. I mean, I can't take 5 and do it half a time. So I'm going to take 5 models and break it into halves. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 models, and each of them shows 1/2, right? 2 pieces. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to shade. All right, so now this is 1 out of 2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, and 1/2. All right, so I have 5 models with a half shaded in each one of them. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 halves. I have 5 models shaded in half. Okay, so you notice my denominator is staying the same, right? The denominator stayed the same because that's how many pieces are in each model. Each model has 2 pieces. Okay, so that's an improper fraction. Here's where you can use your model. I'm going to take this half and I'm going to shade it in over here. So now this half is gone. This model is gone. I'm going to take this half and I'm going to shade it up here. And so now this model is gone. So that leaves me this right here. 2 completely shaded models and 1/2 shaded. 2 and 1/2. If I take this 5 halves and I Tae-Bo it, 5 divided by 2, 2 will go into 5 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract 5 minus 4 is 1. 1 becomes the numerator. 2 stays the denominator. 2.5. Okay? It's really quite easy. This one shouldn't be too stressful. 3 and 1/3 times 4. 1/3 times 4. Okay? So that means I need 1/3 shaded on 4 different models. So this is 3 pieces, so I'm going to shade in 1 out of 3. I'm going to shade this one, 1 out of 3. One out of 3 and 1 out of 3. So I have 4 models because that's my whole number. Okay. So the whole number, and you write this down, is the number of models you need. Okay, the whole number is the number of models you need. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, fraction tells you how many pieces. Oops, I didn't mean to put that so close. How many pieces are shaded? And, that's an and sign. How many it's broken into. Okay, so I kind of wrote that a little bit backwards, but the fraction tells you how many pieces are shaded and how many pieces it's broken into. So 1 out of 3, which means I need my model to have 3 sections, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to shade 1. Okay, hope that makes sense. I need one model to be 3 pieces, and I'm going to shade in 1, and then I'm going to do it 4 different times. Okay, so now I'm going to take this 1/3 and I'm going to look at it. When I multiply it by 4, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 times, right? I'm sorry, that's 4 times, so that's 4 over 3. So that's an improper fraction again, because when I add 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, I get 4/3. So if I take this model, I'm going to move it over here. Take this model, I'm going to move it over here. I just made my mixed number without having to do any improper fraction division, right? My answer is 1 1/3. Okay, so in a little bit, I'm going to give you an assignment through Edpuzzle, so be prepared, okay? And that assignment is going to be using the models for multiplication. So if you didn't understand, you need to go back through it and watch it again. And then when you get to the end, if you still don't understand, you need to send me a clever message or an email so that I can help you out and help you get it figured out, okay? We can set up a Zoom meeting next week if we need to. A Google Meet, sorry. But we do have a Google Meet at 9 o'clock today, so I hope you show up, okay?